hub-driven helicopter. Based on the design for vehicles that are being produced now that have hub motors in them. This is taken from motor vehicles, of course, the hub motors being inside the wheel itself. So basically, magnets are going to turn the wheel using electricity and magnetics. The hub motor, the wheel turns because of magnets, and of course, as the wheel turns, the vehicle is going to turn. Well, take the wheel, turn it on its side, and you've got something to turn the propellers on a helicopter, okay, and also the rotor. So use hub motors for the top and for the back. And in my other video, I explained active fuel generation system that you can incorporate into the helicopter to create fuel while in flight. And you can look at that video for more information on AFGS, Active Fuel Generation System. Now these hub motors, as the hub motors of course spin faster, the propellers on the helicopter are going to spin faster, so this takes the place of your regular motor, okay? But you need electricity to run these motors. That's where the AFGS comes in, the Active Fuel Generation System. What that does, a real brief thing about that, if you haven't seen the video on it, is basically we have the technology today to pull moisture out of the air. That's the first stage of this system, is to pull moisture out of the air, hence water. You pull moisture out of the air, you've got water now that you can subject to electrolysis, pull the hydrogen gas out, and power an electric generator to create the electricity to run the hub motors. Okay, and because it's an active fuel generation system, you're actually pulling your fuel to ultimately run this helicopter. You're pulling fuel from the atmosphere or the air around you that you're flying through. All the air around you is your fuel source. So there's an unlimited supply because there's always moisture in the air. Okay? Then, power fuel supplementation. You could have a backup motor that, given the fact that you're doing an active fuel generation system, you could have a certain amount of storage and store the hydrogen gas that you're creating while you're in flight. After pulling the moisture out of the air, you subject the water to electrolysis, you've got hydrogen gas now, and you could have it storing that because you have also, to run these hub motors, you have a set of batteries in this helicopter too, where the motor and the fuel source would be. You could supplement it, however, if for some reason you want to have a backup where there's something goes wrong with this system right here. You could just well, not this system. I'm thinking the power fuel supplementation. What you want to do is you could have a regular engine, and this could merely just simply supplement your fuel source while in flight. Instead of having the hub motors, you could actually adapt a helicopter. Instead of using the hub motors like I mentioned, you could just have a regular combustion engine turning the propellers on the helicopter. And what this would do, excuse me, then what this would serve to do, the active fuel generation system, would merely be to replenish your fuel supply for a regular combustion engine, which has been proven, as everybody has noticed on Mythbusters, that a combustion engine can run on pure hydrogen gas. They took a hose with hydrogen gas and pointed it into the carburetor and ran the engine on nothing but hydrogen gas. So you don't even really need the hub motors, but this is an application of one of two ways to do it for a helicopter. I'm advocating that we use hub motors, and so that we don't have to store as much hydrogen gas, just use the active fuel generation system just to create as much energy as what you need, or as much hydrogen gas to help supplement the power or the fuel supply, which in this case is electric energy, and run the hub motors. See, so that's less hydrogen gas you actually have to have. Well, this itself actually minimizes the amount of actual hydrogen gas, minimizing the danger of the tanks being on board and exploding or something like that, because you're just creating the fuel as you go. So this is create fuel as you go. That's what that is. But I am an advocate of the hub-driven because they're just more reliable than your gas-powered motors, which have more parts and require more maintenance. The hub motors are more simple, magnets inside a hub motor. It looks like a wheel sitting on its side. It's inside the helicopter, and it turns. And of course, there's the drive goes up to the helicopter blades and spins the blades. As this part is spinning, it's spinning the blades up above. Same thing with the rotor. Now the rotor itself on the back that is used for turning the vehicle, the helicopter. You know how that works. So I don't think there's anything else really on this. I've covered that. And like I said, the fuel source is all around you. It's the water and the air, which when you break it down into its component parts, you get hydrogen gas out of it, and oxygen. Hydrogen gas can be used to power the helicopter. The oxygen can be used to breathe for the environment inside the helicopter. So that's one last thing I wanted to mention. So there you go.